One of these days you're going to be stuck in a situation where you need to defend yourself, or you may need to defend a loved one that's with you. And what if you don't have the skills to hold your own, to stand in combat and take out the threat? Well, that's what this video is about. In this video, I'm going to share how I found my skill, my combat skill of boxing, how I chose this, and what I'm doing to pursue it. And by the end of the video, you're going to have a simple action plan of how to choose your combat skill, how to pursue it, and how to be competent in fighting and be more confident in yourself. Being able to at least throw some punches and kind of know the ins and outs, even at a basic level of combat, gives you immense confidence. And when it comes to actually fighting somebody, the main thing is, why are you fighting this person? Why are you throwing the punches? Is it for offense or defense? To defuse a situation or to start a situation? You should never start the situation, but you should always defuse it if necessary and go from there. So without further ado, let's get into the video where I'm going to show you how I chose my fighting skill and give you some action steps to progress on your journey. Let's get this. So I'm going to give you a few different combat styles that I was thinking about at the beginning of my journey, and then I'll basically give you my mindset on how I narrowed it down to boxing. So it really came to looking around and being inspired by people that I looked up to as a kid. And one of my biggest ones is Rocky. So like Rocky boxes. So that's cool. I started there. But I also weighed at the time I looked at the risk of injury. So I looked at Muay Thai. We'll start with Muay Thai. Muay Thai is a fighting style where, you can throw punches, but you can also throw elbows and knees and kicks and everything. So it's like a whole body, it's very rough. It's very rough. And I watched people do it and it looked really rough. And I'm like, don't really feel like getting injured in that way. So I narrowed it down. So if you're ruthless and you want to get into Muay Thai, then, elbows and knees and all that shit are your thing, definitely go into Muay Thai. That's for you. Jiu-Jitsu, it's all about ground tackle. You're on the ground, you put someone in a choke, armbar, submit. Submit by however you freaking do it, basically. And that's a good, I think of that as a good add-on. You should never really want the fight to go to the ground anyways, because if you take the fight to the ground, there's other people around, then you can get your head stomped in and it's not good. So you should never aim to get to the ground anyways. If you do get thrown on the ground, get back up and then get your punches going. But that's a good add-on. And it's something that if you don't mind getting your arm bent back every now and then, you'll love it. Also, karate. Karate is one of those things. I watched The Karate Kid, and I've always liked karate, but to me it seemed way too technical and just a lot of time. So I'm like, I could do that later, but I want to get into something quick. It seemed like that for me. Maybe I'm wrong. But karate, watch The Karate Kid. It'll explain it. I don't want to explain it here, but you know what karate is. And then we get to boxing. Now, I chose boxing because it's simple and straightforward. Boxing, you just throw your combinations. No feet involved, except for when you're moving. You want to stay on your toe. You want to be nimble and roll. But it's just seemed the easiest, straightforward. You just punch, and Rocky did it. Huge fan. So I started with boxing. Boxing I recommend to start off with personally. It's because it's straightforward. You're just throwing punches, combinations. You work on your footwork. You know, it's a good cardio. You have to build your strength so you can get explosive punches. And it's just, to me, the best way to get into fighting and to get your foot wet, if that's the saying. So in this video, I'm gonna go into stuff based around boxing because that's what I started in. You may be able to use these things in the other fighting styles. Probably not jiu-jitsu because it's all on the ground, but as I said, that's an add-on. So I'll get into what you can do if you have no money first to get into boxing. If you just want to start off with like basically no money other than, actually no, you don't even need to buy the gloves for the start. So I'll get into what I'll call the brokey start, which is no money involved. And then after that, I'll get into what you can do if you have a little bit of money. So let's get this. So if you have no money and you want to get started into boxing, then this is what you can do. And it's super simple. Just throw on to the YouTube, throw on punching combinations, and then just do your shadow boxing. Do shadow boxing, and also when you're doing the combinations, look up how to move when you box. You should never cross your legs, because if you cross your legs when you're moving, I wish you could see, yeah, there we go. So if you cross your legs when you're moving, like this, then you're off balance. And someone punches you or even shoves you, you're going right down. So the main thing to focus on when you're boxing is to keep a stance. So if someone pushes you, you don't move. Keep your front foot at 2 o'clock. I think that's what it is. And then your other foot at, I don't know, basically 3. I don't know, but like you basically, if you can see my feet, it's basically like that. I don't know. And this is an amazing tutorial. I'm not a teacher in this, so bear with me. But you basically want to learn your stance, and you want to just move around. And when you move, if you can see my legs, say you want to move this way. You move this foot and then this foot, so your feet don't cross. But basically just look on YouTube. You get a better description than what I'm doing. Look on YouTube how to do your combinations and then your footwork. And then once you get that going, you just shadow box. Just learn how to shadow box and, you know, do the tutorials, follow along. Something that they may or may not teach you, I learned this from somebody, is when you're, because I didn't learn this until I learned this from a particular person. So when you're fighting, you want to jab with your, say you're right-handed, this is your power hand here. You want to jab with your non-dominant hand, and then once you connect with your non-dominant hand, that's when you throw your power punch. I didn't know that at the start. I don't know like why the tutorials didn't show that. Maybe some out there do, but the ones that I were watching, I didn't see that. So that's something to keep in mind when you're starting boxing. If you have that little technique in your pocket, then it'll give you a very good edge on your fighting, and maybe your instructor will be surprised that you know that right off the bat. But keep that in mind. Pro tip. So once you're doing your shadow boxing and everything, you basically keep on that. I'll give you a tool that I use. It's called a reflex ball. So this is a reflex ball here. It's basically on a headband and a string. You can use this tool, and this is getting into investing a little bit of money, but it's basically nothing. So if you have basically no money, you can invest in one of these. You can literally do like, I don't know, a ball and like tie a string around your head, and then that's basically it. So if you find a ball laying around in a string, you're basically set. But I suck at this thing, but you basically want to punch this damn thing, and it works on your reaction and your hand-eye coordination anyway. And what that does is when you're fighting, this trains your eyes to be able to spot and detect things quick. And it helps with reaction as well. So use that tool to hone your skills a bit. Now this is the part where if you want to take it to the next step and actually get really good, then you're going to have to spend a bit of money. This is what I recommend. I recommend just signing up to your local boxing gym, do a session in there, get acquainted with everybody, know their people's names in there and everything, and then do your first tester, I think it's called tester boxing session, where you go in, you just, usually they give you your first ones for free. You kind of get a feeling for it. If it's your thing, keep going and keep doing your boxing stuff. And before you go in, you can definitely rent some boxing gloves or use theirs. But what I recommend is, just, if you like it, do the tester, see if you like it. If you like it, get some 16-ounce gloves. You want 16-ounce gloves because once you get good enough and you feel comfortable, then you want to go into sparring. Sparring is where you actually learn stuff and you actually get that confidence. You get that extra boost of confidence. Even when you're starting and you're like, okay, I can throw some punches, you get that confidence, but you get some gloves like this, you go into sparring, and then your confidence really goes up because you're actually applying the stuff that you're learning to, to real life. And, to be honest, I haven't even got to the sparring session. I'm still early into this, but I want to share with you guys how I got started and how I'm still actively pursuing the skill, even though I haven't got to sparring yet. So yeah, I hope that helps with you guys. I'm not used to doing videos like this where I'm kind of teaching combat because it's been one of my weak points for a while, but that's why I'm just jumping into this video, getting right into it and getting, a messy start. Sometimes you have to start messy. Hopefully this video turned out well. I'm kind of just shooting at you what I've experienced in fighting, which has been more than the average guy, sadly, but I still feel like I'm super lacking in this skill. So if you guys want to get started on the journey with the video and it's helped, that's amazing. Subscribe, click a thumbs up if you liked it, got some value out of it, and yeah, I hope to see you guys pick up the skill and we'll learn this together. If you guys choose boxing, if you choose Muay Thai, then God protect you because it looks violent, but God bless, pursue the skills, and yeah, baby, let's get today.